Good afternoon slash evening slash morning. It depends what time zone you're in. Welcome to the Ready Up podcast slash the Monday stream. With me tonight are some very special guests. First of all, we have returning podcast host Dean.
Hello, it's
Hey.
me, Dean.
It's been a wee while, Dean.
It has, yeah.
Yeah,
It has been.
Since
Been a
you've been
while,
on
yeah.
stream, or even the podcast is been on a wee break as well. So
Yeah, I've been meditating on a mountaintop somewhere in.
Oh, you're gonna come
Tibet.
back and you've
Yeah.
you've increased your battle power.
I have,
We're
yeah.
sent-
I've got a new limit break.
Sento Ryoko. Okay, and also with us, our main special guests are Matt and Tommy from Table Flip Games, who have just finished and launched their first. Is it their first game?
It is our first game.
It's your first game. It's Sure Footing, an endless runner with 8-bit inspired retro visuals, and a really cool soundtrack. Verity also shouts it's over 9,000, which makes me really angry because I'm a big fan of the Japanese version of the show, and it's over 8,000. It was a dubbing error. Anyway,
That's my fault.
fantastic start there. We're very pleased to have you with us. Hopefully everybody in the background can see Sure Footing running. You won't hear any of the sound yet because the focus for the window isn't active, but it should kick in a second. And yeah, we've got a little document of questions and things to get to push us along, but I'll let Dean handle most of that. I'm just going to play this for the most part.
Yes, I will try to orchestrate this. So, if anyone wants to ask questions in the chat, then, providing they are sensible, I will relay them on.
Yes,
I might
please.
even relay some nonsensible questions. It's based on my prerogative.
All sorts of people today. Panda is one of our regular viewers. He pops in at completely random times, and I think he's surprised by how many people we've got tonight.
We've mustered the troops.
Mustered the troops. Anyway, I'm going to start playing Sure Footing now. So, folks, I'm on the main menu screen right now. Do you recommend that I start with survival?
Yep, I would say survival is the way to go. I'll be interested because you haven't played anything yet, right?
I haven't played anything. Susan was the one who played Sure Footing back at Resd.
Yes, that's right. She's
so-
at the top score, if I remember.
Yeah, she had the top score for most of the weekend, and I think it finally got beat on Sunday afternoon or something, and she was really annoyed.
Yes, I remember this actually. There was some heated competition between Susan and a gentleman who was wearing a Vault Tech cosplay outfit.
Oh.
Whose name I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we'll see him floating around because he seems to quite regularly turn up at events. And pretty good.
So he
Hard to miss.
might be there for upcoming Resd on the 13th, I believe.
We'll be there this weekend showing our
Yeah,
short footing.
Friday to Sunday.
Yep.
Alright. So if any of you are near Tobacco Dock in London and are heading to Resd, I think there's still a chance to get some of the tickets. You can play this for yourselves, presumably. But I'm going to give it a go for the very first time. Now, I do have some experience with Endless Runners, going way back to Cannibal, which is kind of the genesis of the genre, I suppose. Certainly one of the most influential early examples. So I played Cannibal back in the day, I played some Jetpack Joyride, I played most of the sort of big ones, Temple Run and all that. Speaking of which, was there anything in particular that inspired you?
So yeah, I think you've actually covered a lot of the bases. I know, Matt, for you, like Jetpack Joyride, sort of your infinite runner of choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's Jetpack Joyride was definitely the one that I played the most while it was out, and then played it again on Xbox and PC and mobile.
Because I'm the older one, so I played Cannibal when it came out and really fell in love with it. Funnily enough, most of our inspirations don't actually come from Infinite Runners.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like for me, actually, a lot of Super Mario Brothers is kind of laced within the game throughout. But yeah, I'd say probably Cannibal, Jetpack Joyride, Temple Run to an extent, Mario, and a few other like classical platformers were the main inspirations for it.
I'm
We
definitely.
do get referred to as Bit Trip Runner.
Yeah,
I was gonna make that comparison as well, but
we've had quite a few people say to us like, "Oh wow, this looks like a really kind of cool Bit Trip Runner clone," and I feel really bad because I've never played Bit Trip Runner.
Bit Trip's excellent. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like apparently I have both of them on Steam because I got them in a Humble Bundle like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's going back a wee bit. Like
games.
the very
Yeah,
first Bit Trip game was a WiiWare game.
Yes.
Like before it was an Endless Runner, back when it was like Bit Trip Beat. So they go way back. So you're talking like 2007 or something. So
yeah, it's crazy when we get these comments and people saying, "Oh, it's clear that they've been inspired by that," and I'm like, "Oh man, I feel really bad because I feel like I need to go play Bit Trip Runner now."
So something I've noticed from my very limited amount of time with the game already is that you've got this little help screen here.
Yeah.
Was there anything in particular that inspired that? Did you have some play testing and were like, alright, people are getting confused by this interface, let's help them out a little bit, or you just wanted to ease them into it? Was it that sort of thing, or...?
This was mostly me. It was sorry, Tommy being programmer, Matt being artist. I was looking at it as one of the core loops, as you'll see in a minute, is when you come in, you play the game, you'll have a limited number of characters and abilities at the beginning, and then you can gradually unlock them throughout. And so this is our just sort of friendly kind of post-it periodically to go, hey, you can go and do this now, and you can go and try that. So at the moment, when you start up, you only have Pixel Pete as your playable character, but gradually that's going to flesh out and you're going to have more people to play with. So it's sort of to give you a heads up as to why have I got a character select screen with one character in it.
And in a sort of differing philosophy from, let's say, Crossy Road, it seems, I'm making a guess here, I've only got one character, but it seems like your characters actually have different abilities.
So they have slightly different stats, as you can see in the corner there. So you've got acceleration, top speed, jump strength. They're all slightly different from each other, and they all have their own benefits and drawbacks. And then, as you'll see, hopefully down the line, you can then customize each of them to have extra abilities on top of it.
Oh, nice. So there's a little more depth than that. See, a lot of these games tend to just have, it's an aesthetic change if you change your character. But that's pretty cool to see this.
And we can do that as well, but I don't know if we'll get that far tonight.
Well, I guess I'll find out how far I can get. Does anyone want me to read this description? I'm pretty sure they've seen it on screen right now, but you folks can talk a little bit about the story once I'm deep in the gameplay. I'm gonna just hit start with Pixel Pete and get going.
See, Vanguard Panda says that you might need some pro tips with Panda.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what that's a reference to, but
Oh, Panda likes to drop into our streams and say things like "shoot that guy."
yes.
And I'm like,
any tips, Panda?
Oh, it's a giant face. Is that a wee bit of Andros there?
Matt, was it a bit of Andros? Do you know who Andros is?
I don't know
It's
who
it's the bad guy at the end of Star Fox.
Right, okay, I still don't know who that is. So, yeah, so most of the characters are quite blocky, and it's because my background is environment art.
Oh.
I'm not a character artist, and when Tommy asked me to do some characters, I went straight with beveled boxes, because, yeah, my characters turn out like Crichton from Red Dwarf.
Oh, great. That's aesthetic.
So, yeah, originally he was a wave.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a physical wave.
Yeah,
that's right.
And but we wanted to give him a little bit of character, so I thought, well, why don't I give him these make his face out of blocks and make his hands out of blocks.
First death, guys. First death.
Oh no. Panda says you should make friends with the face.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Have you tried that? Try running to the left instead.
try running towards him.
Exactly. He just wants to be friends.
600 odd for the first run, though. That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's
Alright.
a good one.
So is there a double jump here? I'm feeling like there's something. Oh.
You can unlock one. So each of your additional abilities come by completing all the challenges that are in the game. And then when you complete the challenges, that will give you new abilities that you can take with you. And at the bottom on your HUD right now, you've got 3 empty slots. You can take up to 3 abilities with you.
So those are kind of modifiers for each run.
Yeah, so a big sort of influence or a big kind of philosophy we had for the game as it went on was we like this idea that you can play it however you like. You pick whichever character you want and whatever outfit that you want, with it, whatever abilities you want and stuff like that. So kind of allowing as much flexibility there as possible.
Does that potentially lead to some interesting combinations as well?
Oh,
Oh yeah. It
Oh, no,
does,
I fell!
especially,
oh!
when we've been playtesting it, like combining different.
Oh, that's that
power-ups.
bug. That's that bug. I thought I'd fixed that. I do apologise.
What happened?
Okay, was I not supposed to be able to fall there?
I think that was a clipping bug, a collision
Ah,
bug between
it's-
down at the end of the street.
I think that's allowed. I think that was my fault still. I've got to
Patch
say...
1.1 coming soon, folks.
Nice. I've got to say, I like the distance and the MIPS bit. Because I obviously anyone who's done a bit of computer science will get that. Also, MIPS, for a little bit of trivia for you folks. Oh my god, Scott giving out trivia on a podcast? No.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? MIPS is also the name of the test rabbit that they used to create Mario's platforming in Mario 64. And it's also named after the N64's one of the N64's processors.
Okay.
Okay, so I can fall and die that way. All right, that's fine. Okay, so that last death is on me.
Sure.
Ooh.
Experimenting.
Experimenting.
So tell us a little bit more about kind of like the setting of the game. It's set in a world called Computra, right?
Yeah. So the idea was that like the sort of the story and the world kind of emerged gradually over time. We kind of leaned into this notion. Actually, it came from the characters, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because we came up with Pixel Pete first,
Yeah.
and then that sort of influenced the whole narrative and world that it's supposed to take place inside the computer. The denizens, the pixelites, as we call them, refer to the world as Computra, and like you essentially get to visit different parts of Computra. And that means that all the locations are kind of meant to be different parts of the hard disk, but they have clear inspirations from somewhere in the real world, like
Yeah.
Landon, for example.
Landon. Nice pun.
And it's all terrible dad jokes and
Yeah.
I mean, I already saw the alliteration with Pixel Pete there.
Yeah, it feels very much like kind of ZX Spectrum period, kind of like
We made this
you
in
know,
our bedroom.
teasing and just thinking of things like London and kind of Pixel Pete and everything. It reminds me of, you know, that kind of like British surrealist style of kind of ZX Spectrum games, that kind of Tristan Donovan and people like that often refer to. Was that an influence at all, or?
can't say it was, no.
Like Jet Set Willy and stuff.
Yeah, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
like yeah, totally. Like I think actually probably I don't know. Pixel Pete came about because we just really liked the alliteration, and we kind of leaned into it from there. And then even though like it's only two characters that have that alliteration, well, there's three. There's Deletion Dave, Pixel Pete, and Polly Polygon.
What's going on here? What's this? little
Yeah,
thing
this has gotten
about?
super
It's
interesting.
all changed.
So here we go. This is actually the other villain. There are two villains in the game. So you've been being chased by the evil magician or
Ah!
Deletion Dave.
Yep.
And this is Ram Rafstar. He's actually Dave's boss.
Oh, okay.
And he's the guy that's responsible for sending Dave out and doing the things that he's doing right now, which is totally nice.
Again, another excellent pun with his name. Ram
Somebody
Rafstar.
gets it. There we go. Like,
Well, yeah, it's got Ram in it. Hey, I got a challenge. I got a challenge though.
no, like, oh,
Oh.
Jump
Not bad,
50
really.
times, challenge complete. Okay.
there you go. I'm trying to remember, what does that unlock?
Let's find out. Well, I'll go back to the boot menu and have a look.
Yeah. Is it Super Jump? I can't remember.
Yeah. it is.
You moved up the leaderboard though. You're now in the top 20. That's pretty good.
Oh, cool. Let's see. Good job. You've unlocked one of my power-ups down here in the workshop. Hi, I'm Pascal. Hey, did you steal that from Nier? And I program an assortment of hacks and mods that can make your life a lot easier. Come and see me in the Cashville market when you're ready. Actually, I do realise that in Nier it was stolen from elsewhere, so never mind. Pascal is
Isn't
the name
that
of
a kind of
He is-
language as well?
It's a language and the name of a philosopher, so it worked out perfectly
It's
for Nier.
perfect for Nier. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I might go to the shop then. Have a wee look. So this is an in-game shop. This isn't a play-to-win shop.
No.
No.
It's,
Okay.
This was actually like a big talking point between the two of us about how to build the shop and kind of manage that ecosystem early on, particularly because this is a genre where people tend to use an awful lot of microtransactions and kind of pay to win mechanics and whatnot.
Absolutely, and that philosophy of that is just like an entire development process in itself.
And also, given the current circumstance as well, like the microtransaction loot box
Yep.
disaster with many of these AAA games.
The year of the loot box.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think it's funny because we kind of went the complete opposite route of this is a game that you typically ship on mobile for free and lace it with microtransactions. But no, we're going to launch it on PC for like
make it a freemium to actual just full on game basically. That seems like that's a completely different strategy from everybody else at the moment. I mean, I know a couple of people have done it on Steam, obviously, but I was surprised that this was launching on Steam first, basically. Oh, have we lost him? Can you hear me, Dean? Dean? Anyone? Can you people see me on the stream? Because that's the most important thing. Discord might have just died. Okay, you can hear me. All right. Well, I'm the star of the show, so whatever. No. All right. I will try disconnecting from the podcast room and going back in. Let's have a go. Yep, it's the podcast server. Thanks, Discord. Thank you. Just what we need. All right, I'm gonna jump over into streaming and see if that works. Right, streaming works.
I think everyone can hear us. So...
And I'm back.
Scott's back.
Sorry about that, folks. Oh God, no one told me my green screen was showing.
Oh.
Oh, that's fine.
You should. Yeah.
There we go.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Wardrobe malfunctions, audio malfunctions. So I'm afraid you've got a little bit of audio editing to cut this out, Dean.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll look forward to that.
You can look forward to that.
Yeah, you can hear everyone now, so that's good.
Yep, I can hear everyone, and the stream could hear me. So it was my Discord freaking out, basically.
Sweet. Okay, so you were talking about the shop.
Yes, sorry, you were talking about the shop, Tommy and Matt.
I think it was to do with the whole releasing for a upfront fee and then not having to pay to win. Motto that we didn't want to go down that route.
I think it was also like I'm a bit older than I think everyone else here. So I'm nearly in my mid-30s, man. That's crazy.
I'm right there with you.
I came from that era where you'd buy a game for 40 quid and then you spend 60 to 100 hours trying to unlock every single thing that was in the game.
I'm basically from that era as well because I was a bit late. Like even though I'm a couple of years younger than you, I had a C64 growing up and stuff. So
there you go.
So yeah, I'm totally from that era as well. Although I suppose if I was C64, I would have been like, well, let's just copy the tape. But let's not get into that. We got an interesting question in the chat for you guys.
Sure.
Which character would you take out of games into real life if you could? I don't know if that's specifically to your game.
All right, hang on. Let's try it with our game first. One of our characters out of our game into the real world. Who would it be?
I like playing as Polly.
So, speaking of Polly, I am 80% of the way there to getting Polly. I've got to play survival mode 5 times as Pete, so I must have played it 4 times.
Yep.
Okay. Blip is 5 times as Polly, that makes sense. And Plunk is 5 times as Blip. Okay, so I'm seeing the pattern here. Do you also need like credits additionally, or is it just like the challenges?
Yes. Yeah, you do. So the MIPS that you're collecting will then... So you have to complete the challenge to unlock them in the store, and then you can use the MIPS that you've collected to then actually buy them.
Okay. All right, so I can theoretically, I don't have enough MIPS, but I can theoretically unlock Jump Overload now.
Jump Overload.
So that's jump higher and farther, but takes time to charge up. So that's more of if you're very good at timing your jumps, you can make your That can be overall advantageous.
Does that just replace the normal jump, or is it an additional in addition to it?
In addition, so it's one of your power-ups, so you can play with it on that bar. So you've still got your normal jump, but you do get you can use that as like a power-up.
So it comes in really handy if you're kind of stuck. If you can see a bit of geometry that's looking a bit nasty, you can then like kind of super jump over it.
Yeah.
Another one actually for Scott at the moment is to use the right trigger because you're using the pad. Like you can see it on your HUD at the bottom. The right trigger when you use it lets you sprint.
Oh!
The sprint meter on the bottom.
I did not even see that. That's going to change things a little bit, yeah.
Give that a try. If you hit the right, there you go, and it's got to recharge.
Yeah.
What is this guy's problem anyway? Why is he chasing you?
So Dave is a virus, hence his name's Deletion Dave, and he's been let loose from. He was originally trapped on a portion of the hard disk that was. Oh.
I'm doing fantastic breaking this tonight.
Nice. No, Dave's gonna get you.
Yeah.
So Dave's job was originally to try and delete parts of the hard disk. He was then caught by an antivirus and he was locked away in an infected part of the hard drive, and Ramrafsters let him out.
Oh, okay.
So his job is now to delete everything. So sometimes if you notice when the camera zooms out that a lot of the platforms lose their colour, he destroys all the crates and stuff that you don't hit that are on the ground. He also kind of sadly starts deleting everybody else.
Oh no!
Oh,
That's kind of
He's a bit
sad.
nasty that way.
Yeah, Dave is a bit.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, I can. You know that way because we were watching the stream. I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You just bounce backwards.
I just bounced way the heck backwards. That's pretty good. I like that.
Well,
Don't run
Well,
into
nerf
those
that.
things. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll nerf that in the next patch. Don't worry.
Oh, that's not one that bounces you upwards.
I like it. I like it.
So I wanted to kind of address something that's, I guess, an important part of like the origins of this game, which is like it started off as a bit of an academic project, didn't it, for you, Tommy? In terms of like exploring procedural content generation and AI and stuff, which is kind of like where your specialism is. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so our background for both of us is that in our day jobs we're university lecturers, and my academic background's in AI. So I'm a game AI researcher. I still do that sometimes. It's been a little bit difficult to focus on some of the research activities of late, but Sure Footing was originally a prototype where I was working on how can you write a scalable, flexible framework for generation that a designer can come in and use quite easily, but it can increase in scale and complexity and difficulty the longer you're playing. And yeah, even the aesthetic I think comes from that because I was working on it, and then Matt, came into the office one day and you referred to it in a way that I can't say out loud on a stream. Because it was a programmer's project, right? And so if you're a programmer, it's programmer art. It was cubes. It was all just colorful cubes. And then Matt came in and told me his professional opinion. And I said, well, why don't you do better? Because I
Nice.
Like fast forward a couple of years and here we are. That is literally how this game came about.
So it just came about through a kind of argument, basically, just like an insult, like, oh, I could do better than
I was
that.
like, no, the game's actually coming together really well, and I think it's going to be fun. And you're like, yeah, but it looks like you're just staring at me now.
Yeah.
So,
programmer art everywhere.
What was it? It was the
Dirty
texture.
programmer art everywhere.
It was the texture. So the crates and on the platforms you'll note are all different colors. You've got green ones, blue ones, orange ones.
and I'm noticing they do different things. So the green ones are additional MIPs. The blue ones are kind of a jump. The yellow ones bounce me back. Oh god, another flip! Sorry, the flips are throwing me for a loop.
The blue ones, if you bounce them in the air and they hit Dave, they slow him down.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. All right.
And the red ones, which you probably won't discover on this difficulty just yet, will kill you if you touch them.
Oh.
They're really nasty.
Erase you.
Yeah. But That is true. They delete you. They
Delete
don't
you. Yeah,
kill you.
they don't
Nobody gets
kill you.
killed. Nobody gets killed.
Peggy 3. Peggy 3.
Peggy 3.
The original game,
Rated
the original
T for T.
prototype, I made these little cubes. These were my obstacles, and I had a texture on it, which I drew in Microsoft Paint.
Nice.
And you can't see this right now, but Matt's really is just shaking his head, and you can see he's kind of like. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back when he saw that. And you did say this to me. You were like, "Is that in? What did you make that in?" I'm like, "Paint." You just went red.
You had
Nice.
full access to Photoshop.
I didn't know how to use Photoshop back then. I've got better.
So,
But
so for a little bit of background on me and Dean. Dean comes at games and game dev and everything from a very academic point of view. He does a lot of talks about like the philosophy of game design and stuff.
I'm studying at a university, and I teach as well at Norwich University of the Arts.
okay.
Game studies course, but I come at it from much more from like the game studies theory and kind of cultural theory side of, and media studies as well, side of the bar.
Whereas for me, I tend to come from. I care about the history of games as a medium a lot, like to stupid degree, like caring about like random facts that no one else cares about. But I also I'm also into game dev, and I'm not very good at any of it. But over the years, I have played with almost everything a little bit. So, missed that jump. Unity, obviously, is huge these days. But I watched Unity grow from. I got into Unity around like Unity 2, Unity 3. Well before the 2D support, well before they ditched on GUI in favor of UGUI, or the other way around, I can't remember. Before all the license changes. So I've seen Unity has massively improved. And I've used a whole bunch of other stuff. So I've played with Construct, I've played with Scratch, I've played with GM Studio back when it wasn't even called GM Studio, it was just Game Maker 7. All of that stuff. And years ago I used to play with stuff like the Games Factory and Coral Click and Create. And,
Games Factory, I used that.
yeah.
Jeez. Late 1990s?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And like back on the Amiga, although I didn't understand any of it, I used to use Amos. So yeah, I've seen development change so much, and especially the last decade and a half. It's just gotten so accessible. Unity's fantastic. I mean, I know a lot of people make fun of it, but it is a fantastic tool and engine. My problem, however, is I'm a pretty lousy programmer, if I'm being 100% honest. So I feel like I'm like a jack of all trades, master of absolutely none. I feel like I understand a little bit of everything in the game dev process, but I'm really a pretty rubbish programmer. Thankfully, there's stuff like on Unity. I'm pretty solid with Playmaker. So there's a lot of visual scripting tools in Unity now that let you get away with not being a decent programmer. Despite the fact, we all learned like Java at university, you'd think I'd be decent at C#, but nope. Oh, come on! Alright, wait for the replay on that, alright? Alright, watch this.
Instant replay.
So
close.
Commander
Rolo also says that Lady Block should be unlocked now.
Oh, excellent! Alright, I'll switch to that next.
I don't think it's called Lady Block. I think it's Poly something, right? Poly.
Yeah, Polygon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which actually took a lot longer to name than it should.
That just try to come up with the pun names, yeah.
Like, oh god, do you remember this? Like, I think she was at one point like Patricia and Peggy and all these different things.
Oh, Peggy! They would have loved that if you'd named
it.
Yeah, they would have loved that if you'd named a character after them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember it just like it didn't fit, and like Pixel Pete just seemed to roll off the tongue really well, and we couldn't figure out what to call it. And I always remember this because it was my old colleague in my old job when I used to lecture at Derby Uni. We were in the pub and we're chatting away. This was after work on a Friday, and I said to him, "I'm having so much trouble trying to figure out what to name this character." And he's like, "Which one?" And so we had some concept art with the original 4. Pete, Polly, Blip, and Plunk, and and he said, which character, and I pointed to her, and he, without skipping a beat, just stops drinking his beer and goes, Polygon, Pixel Pete, Polygon, and goes back to drinking as if like nothing had happened. And I'm like, oh my god, that's the name.
It's that eureka moment.
That was it.
You just couldn't see the woods for the trees, could you? It was like you've been thinking about it far too long.
It's also because sometimes Matt just turns to me and goes, what's this thing called? And I'm like,
Yeah, Tommy does a lot of the naming. I'll leave that up to him. But I think Polly's story is quite interesting as well. I think we were at Norwich one year, and it was just Pete, Pixel Pete.
It was Game City.
Was it Game
It
City?
was Game City, yeah.
And we had a little girl play the game, and she turned around to Tommy and said, "Why do I always have to play as the male character?"
Oh,
The boy cube, I think, was
Yeah,
the
the
word.
boy cube.
And yeah.
We've managed to gendify a cube, which
which is kind of impressive in a way.
yeah.
Yeah, like only like you have to be a proper moron to back yourself into that kind of creative corner, I think. And we're just a pair of morons. And I think that was the first time we really started looking at, because at the time, like you say, it came from this academic research project. We've been putting more art into it, and that's when we started looking at it more seriously and saying, if you're going to do this, like we have to start being mindful of, you know, our representation and how do we embed parts of the world and how do we make this as accessible to players.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
possible.
That's a huge part of development now. Yeah.
Yeah, I also like the fact that you avoided just the stereotype of putting a bow on its head.
So it took a
Like
while
the
to.
Lady Pac-Man kind of route. Of
Yeah, you've done something a bit more interesting than that. Yeah.
So that was one of the things, like Tommy, when me and Tommy were having this design decision about the overall aesthetic of Polly and how to make it look like a female but not do stereotypical things. We had this discussion, and it's just like, how do you do it? And the brief to my animator when we had the final model was Jessie from Toy Story.
Right. Yeah.
How Polly moves and things, but yeah, it was so the bevels are smaller on female characters.
Right.
They're sharper. So if you look at costume Kathy inside the shop, she has the same like 0.2 bevel on the side, whereas the guys have all got thicker bevels.
Okay. Well,
Finally, the true difference between the sexes. It wasn't men are from Mars, women are from Venus after all. It was just the size of our bevels.
that's it.
Yeah, it's all in the bevels.
Yeah.
So,
There we go.
so from like again, like being interested in the development process, Matt, what did you use to model everything?
So I use Maya.
Maya. Okay. Maya's pretty expensive, but
Yeah.
there's a reason it costs so much.
So we use a version Maya LT,
LT, yeah.
which is a lot cheaper to use.
I've tried to learn a bit of Blender, but man, it's totally viable. It just takes a lot of practice. Just that interface.
Yeah, I've been using Maya now for about 7 years.
Mhm.
I've also used 3D Studio Max as well.
Nice.
I tried to use Blender a couple months ago. I threw it out the window.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's an impressive tool. Like it can do pretty much everything, but you have to work out like 10 million shortcuts to get there.
Yeah, and I think I think what I teach to my students is once you know one piece of how to actually 3D model and you know the principles of 3D modeling, and you can make optimized, efficient models to run in game. It doesn't matter what software you're using.
That wasn't a bad run.
You
That's
just
all
have to learn. You just have to learn the new shortcuts basically in the new piece of software. It's the same with game engines as well.
Absolutely.
I teach my students Unreal, and I also show them Unity as well. But more likely, they're going to be using an in-house engine
Yeah.
that they don't have access to. So
Something
got to be able to
proprietary.
adapt. Yeah.
So UT4, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Unreal Engine 4.
I don't have too much experience with UT4, although I am aware of its blueprint system is kind of what inspired Playmaker, so that's cool.
You can get away with quite a lot now using Blueprint.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
I think there's almost kind of function to a certain extent. There's a kind of functional parity between that and coding in C++. There's I think there's, as being the programmer, because we actually have got a couple of things we've been doing in UE4. It's that thing of there's a threshold point where the blueprint's going to take so long or get so big. You throw it out and you go and do it in C++ instead.
Yeah, so I kind of had this the other night. I was trying to get I was following a tutorial for. Oh god, I'm stuck on the edge of another thing again. I was doing a tutorial for nav meshes in Unity.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Come on, you can do it. Come on.
Where's Dave?
Use your super jump.
I was really ahead of Dave there.
Dave will be holding back.
He's coming back. He's coming. I must have been.
Coming.
Yeah, there he is.
So Dave has a short delay depending on the difficulty setting.
But yeah, I did a tutorial on nav meshes the other night.
Okay, yeah.
And it was, I kind of had that moment where, even with my incredibly limited knowledge of C#, I was like, would this be easier just to do in C# rather than figure out the action of the string of Playmaker actions required to replicate activating the nav mesh like agent and stuff. I was trying to do like a screen.
Probably, because in C# it's about 3 lines.
Exactly, and like so it was like I was trying to do like a screen pick to try and get screen position. But it took me a while. Eventually, I found out that some smart gentleman or lady had produced a custom action for Playmaker to handle nav meshes, so ended up just using that in the end. But I did end up looking at what the C# code would have been, and it was like three lines. So you got to basically balance what is viable in terms of like, all right, do I spend all this time writing it out in a big long blueprint, or do I actually just do the code, just suck it up and do the code?
I feel like I should kind of like pull this out of the massive tech hole. It's all.
sorry. This is what happens when you've got me and
Okay, let's go back to a kind of simpler question of like.
Although shout outs in the chat to Cypher Stone.
Yes, hello Cypher Stone.
Welcome. If anybody's enjoying this stream, either the gameplay or the dev commentary, please give us a follow. We're trying to hit 300. There's my shameless pimp.
Yeah.
They get 6 more to go. Come on,
we're almost there. We've been bouncing around. Oh, it's so close. We keep getting like 291, 290, 291, 290. But yes, I'll give it back to you, Dean.
How has it been since it's been out? Because it's only been out a little while on Steam, right? So how has it been received? Are you happy with, how it's turned out?
What you kind of post-change? I've not really paid attention, like how well it's doing in terms of looked. We've had people playing it, which is good. We've actually been watching. We actually watch a lot of streamers and YouTubers check it out because we often find that's like the best way to get a kind of more honest interpretation of whether they're enjoying it.
And hey, free playtesting.
Yeah.
It is that as well, like because it's this procedurally generating game. Like sometimes there are little edge cases that crop up where I need to go in and go, right, I'm going to patch that or tweak that in the next thing, and like, is this balanced well enough? Do I need to go and change something? So, and we've only really, because we're a very small team. There's like Matt and I. We've got Molly who works for us on characters, and then the rest of the team is kind of contracted in where we need them for animation, music. And a lot of the kind of the promotional and concept art and stuff like that we've done. So taking it to events is really our main way of getting feedback. So watching people play it, and we're in this for the long run. We're just going to keep tweaking it and playing with it, and we've got loads of updates lined up for it. So it's nice to see it out there, out of our hands for a change, and see people still enjoying it, even though we're not there.
And you kind of formed the studio, after kind of like developing this within academia as a kind of a research project almost. So like what's been the big difference between moving from an academic context to a games industry context?
Do you want to take that one first?
Yeah, sure. So we formed the company actually before Surefooting.
Okay.
We actually, as lecturers, at that point, none of us had worked on games.
You'd worked on games.
I'd worked on small bits of games, mainly my art to them and not caring, just getting paid for it. And I'd also worked in art phys as well. So, and you'd worked in banking.
I'd worked in banking. I'd made games before as part of my research career, but they were often kind of cruddy and built for the research purposes that they were, like trying to get an AI to play it or something like that. That's my research career started out, was trying to get machine learning so you can get AI that can play your game that you design. But neither of us had ever went through the whole process of making and shipping one. And you were teaching game art.
Yeah.
I was running a games programming degree at the time. And yeah, that was when the focus of it began to shift a little bit, where we have this thing, we have this game, so let's try and go through this process. And funnily enough, this comes back to what you were saying earlier about it being on Steam, which is an interesting place for it to go. We want to go through the whole gamut of putting it everywhere and going through that process and figuring, like, because you're never going to really know what that's like till you do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Experience that.
So
sort of process.
we can't say anything just yet, but this Surefooting's coming to a number of platforms in the coming months.
Cough, cough, switch. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. That is one of a few now. We have a couple lined up.
Okay,
So
okay.
we're-
I just
I'm
like to
busy on
shout that.
right now. But you know, it's been great, and subsequently it has actually had a huge impact on our teaching, because we're able to come in now and we can, like I've been teaching a game design class with first years quite a bit in recent memory, and kind of, okay, we've had a bit more experience with this now, taking games to events and seeing how people respond to it. We can see the problems a little bit earlier now for students and trying to give them more advice.
I run a game dev module with second years, and again, it's like Tommy says, I get to see what pitfalls they're going to encounter. And yeah, but just quickly going back, we did try a game first,
Oh god.
which is in a vault somewhere. And
Under the ground.
underground in a nuclear bunker. But that was we tried it, and it was just too big of a project. The scope of it was too big. There wasn't enough of us to work on it.
Yeah,
And
feature
it's-
creep I hear problems about all the time, yeah.
Yeah, but this was.
I
it
think
wasn't
even-
even a feature creep. I
Yeah,
think it
even
was just,
even a prototype where
Yeah.
like this is
This is
beyond
just too
us.
massive, yeah.
Too big an idea. And oh my god, I see that so many times with like first year university students. Oh, I'm gonna make my own Skyrim. I'm like, dude,
yeah. Like
Never mind,
even a Metroidvania is probably a bit too much, guys. Dial it back.
yeah. And even with us, I'm like, no. Although to be fair, there's some pretty cool looking Metroidvanias out there in the indie sphere, and it's like
No!
awesome.
I mean,
Whatever.
sorry, I fully agree with you. Sure Footing just crashed. That might be. I'm running a hell of a lot of stuff right now, so I'm not going to blame your game. I'm going to blame my system. But I'll just quick.
This is the first time I've seen it crash in the wild. This is exciting.
Blame deletion Dave, that's what I say.
There you go.
Yeah, Dave's finally got in and
Yeah.
For what it's worth, it's not my CPU melting, because even though my system is OC'd to heck, I'm sitting at 58 degrees, so it should be alright. Right. Let me just reboot that and I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. So Vegety asks, are there any hidden Easter eggs in the game?
I think what the challenges are called.
a lot of it is laced into the narrative in terms of like bad jokes, as well as some of the challenges and the achievements and stuff like that. Like,
Hunt's backstory, I don't get.
yes, I don't even think that's properly in there yet, because it won't be until the story mode comes in.
Ooh,
Later on down the line.
Oh yes, tell us about the story mode.
So we want to. This is something we've been wanting to add in later on. We're gradually just slowly adding new content in over time, but the story mode will allow you to then visit distinctly generated sequences within specific locales.
Ah.
So, and there is actually a story behind it. The game does actually have a narrative. There's a reason why they go to the locations. There's a reason why each of the characters are there. Like Polly is actually the one that's trying to stop everything because she's the brains of the outfit. Like Pete's a bit of a muppet. And the game crashed again.
It did. I'm gonna send you the debug if you want it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
We can check that out. That is interesting.
All right. I'll I'll just pull it from VS. I've got Visual Studio on here. So apologies, folks. Listen to the lovely audio right now. Listen to the commentary. Sorry, go on. You were saying about Pete and Polly.
So yeah, like we actually do have a narrative for it that we want to be able to tell at some point and let people actually find out why it is they're going to certain locations. What is Ram Rafster's beef? Why is he trying to delete everybody, erase everybody? And also maybe eventually meet some of Dave's family, because Dave is one of 256 viruses.
Oh, I see what you did there.
So like a lot of that sort of stuff in there that we thought was, and like I say, like all the locations are deliberately meant to be, like there's a reason a lot of them are the way they are in the game and why they design a certain way and stuff like that. It's all silly dad jokes for the most part, but every now and then I get a kick out of it because we go to an event and someone goes, "Oh, I get that joke,"
Nice.
and Matt just looks at me
That's
with,
a joke.
yeah, with the look he's giving me right now, and I celebrate.
So he's got a little running competition almost. Is who can spot whose jokes in the game.
Why? Almost all of them are mine.
Yeah, I don't. I leave the writing to Tommy because yeah.
So yeah, if there's any problems with the writing, just blame me.
Okay, we'll look for typos.
Spelling and grammar.
Yep.
I make his art look pretty. That's what I do.
All right, we're going back in. Let's try it again. And I've taken 2 screenshots from Visual Studio for you. I don't know.
That's great. Thank you very much.
I don't know if they'll be any use. They're just like call stacks and stuff. So.
Oh, I'm sadly, intimately aware of that code base.
Right, jump overload. Let's bring that back on.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But are you running it on an SSD?
So Windows is on an SSD, but I'm on. I keep Windows on a separate SSD, and then my game drives and my download drives are separate hard drives that are just.
Oh, I think we lost.
Oh, what's up?
Kind of losing you a bit there, Scott.
Okay, I'll move over into streaming and come back.
Okay.
Difficulties?
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
There we
Okay.
go. We thought it was us.
No, it could very well be something here on Discord, yeah. Yes, I have my primary Windows drive as an SSD, but I keep my games, including everything under Steam, on a 7200 traditional HD.
Okay, no, that's cool. Like we noticed an interesting during the game. It's just something. It's on my backlog of things I'm wanting to look at in the next month's patch to see if I can try and fix. But yeah, I'll take a look at those. That'll be super handy. The debug logs.
Cool. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna have another run.
As well.
Nope. Discord
Two others,
is.
and I've been playing it for the last month, and it's nice to see other people like actually playing it, and it's like, okay, right, we can fix that.
Until we see something I don't know what it is, and then I'm like, oh god.
So then you'll go out and have a run, or think of it in the shower.
Yeah, that is actually usually how I do it.
Shower coding. Right. So hang on. Discord's being a bit funny. What I'm gonna do is you can stay on here, but I'm going to reset Discord server. So pick a different location in Europe, and hopefully we'll get something a bit stronger because it's really not prioritizing us very well.
Okey-dokey.
So you'll be disconnected for a second, and then we'll be back.
Oh, right.
I think we should be back.
Yep.
Okay, loud and clear. Excellent. Sorry, you were giving an interesting anecdote there, and it was just cutting out, and I was just like, oh no, Dean's gonna have to edit this.
You probably want to edit it because I'm pretty sure it was something to do with me in the shower.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
I'm gonna.
Escape that out in your memory.
I'm going back into sure footing.
Here we go. Um,
So we're talking a little bit about it kind of being an experiment in kind of AI and procedural content generation. Like, what kind of what AI kind of paradigm, I guess, is it kind of really drawing on? Is it kind of like a self-learning thing, or a kind of what's the thing that the motor beneath the surface doing?
So with regards to the level generation, it does it in two phases. Every time, so you'll note that you keep running on these streets, and there's crates, and there's other characters standing around. Then you go on to these sequences of platforms. We call them sprints. What it is doing is it actually encodes a sprint, or it generates a sprint on two layers. The first thing it does is it figures out what does it want the player to do, and then the next thing is how does it generate geometry that reflects that. So I use a generative grammar system, which all of the core like geometry shapes or like kind of player actions are encoded in that grammar. So running down a set of stairs, or running up a set of stairs, or jumping over like a hopscotch, or hitting a spring and going up because you've hit a spring. These are like the kind of core actions that we encode. And I think there's about 15 different actions I encode. And so it comes up with the sprint, and it says, right, this sprint is going to be X amount of actions long, and each action has a certain value to it. So some of them are considered more expensive than others. And then once it's came up with this sprint, it says I need to place it in the world. So it has a secondary system which then tries to find pieces of geometry that reflect those actions. And
it kind of pieces it together from that.
It pieces it together at runtime, so you largely don't notice it.
Okay.
So you act, because fortunately you used to be able to see it in earlier builds. You don't anymore. You can't see when the geometry is actually being generated.
Oh, so it's actually generating off screen in front of you.
Yeah, and it's also deleting everything behind us.
Yeah, a lot of
as we're playing.
a lot of the endless runners work like that, don't they? Yeah.
Oh right, okay. I
Yeah,
guess it's just a
we
big
just worked really hard to.
It's kind of an object pooling thing, basically.
Yeah, a lot of it is to kind of keep the memory overhead down,
Yeah,
and
that
a
makes
big part of it is trying to figure out when's the best time to delete something and when's the best time to add something, without it causing a performance overhead, and also without you noticing I've done it.
Yeah.
Well, even if you do notice it, it's completely thematic in this case because he is deleting the level.
I suppose this is the one game where you could get away with that a little bit more, even though you've hidden it really well. So
it's almost like the very nuts and bolts way it's built kind of reflects the theme of the game in some respects.
Oh
which is
no!
quite interesting.
So I'm definitely feeling Polly's difference in acceleration when I crash at all. Like it seems like Polly's the one to go for if you can maintain a good route.
Yeah, Polly's my favorite actually.
Yeah. If you can maintain a good without making mistakes, she's gonna go the fastest. It seems like, but she's like if you pick any of the heavy characters in Mario Kart. The idea is with them is that you don't try and crash too often, but they can eventually reach the max speed.
Have you unlocked the third character?
I think I've unlocked something. Yeah, I'm gonna have a look right now.
Yeah.
Polygon Blip.
Cypher Stone says Blip's his favourite. So.
Okay. So Cypher Stone. I guess you've picked this up then.
There you go. There's Blip. Yeah. He must have because this is the first time
Yeah.
we've seen Blip.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. You've got a fan already in the chat. Excellent.
But so to the other thing, just to kind of add on to the level generator, is that, so I said like it uses that grammar, so we use the grammar to figure out what we want you to do. It has, oh god, the last time I remember, it's been a little while since I looked, the grammar action selection process can switch out which brain it uses. There's 12 of them.
Okay.
And so at the start of the game, it will pick a brain. It's also based on the difficulty level that we use. It will just not allow certain brains to be active. And the longer you survive, it will swap brains out.
To keep you on your toes, kind of thing.
Essentially, the level generator changes its mood.
I like that. That's really cool. Like it's like an enemy getting angry or whatever at you, or aggro, or that's kind of cool.
So it means that at some periods you might be like, why is it suddenly doing this? Like before we didn't see this sort of thing happening in the levels. It's like because it's changed its mood that it's currently in right now.
It's feeling rowdy. It's feeling aggressive. It's Verity, or Vegety as she's known in the chat, but that's Verity from our team, is saying, "Oh my God, Blip is so freaking cute," which I agree with.
Yes,
He is roughly analogous to a dog, I'm guessing.
yeah. So Blip is technically a nibble. So all the like Pete and Polly are pixelites. Blip is a nibble.
Oh, okay, part of the lore again. Yeah, I like this.
So we're going to have lots of different. We haven't actually done it yet for a number of reasons to do with procedural generation, but in future updates we hope to have it that like lots of other nibbles are running around the map.
Oh yeah, like I can see like Polly at the beginning there, and like other characters in the background.
You should throw a few audio logs in there as well and go all Ken Levine on it.
Well, this is Bioshock Blip. Bioshock
Let me
Blip.
explain the society and our political structure within Cashville.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the kind of
Part 1 of 12.
Yeah, well, Dean
Yeah,
Dean would love that. Prey was his favourite game of last year, so...
It absolutely was. So.
Oh, I haven't got around to playing that yet. It's sitting on my Xbox.
Man, it's amazing. If you like immersive sims, it's the one to play.
If you're from the System Shock, Bioshock mindset...
Yeah, that's pretty much why I picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I feel like it's the first kind of one of those games since Bioshock that takes those ideas and does something.
Would you say
More
even over
interesting
Infinite?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Hearts of Infinite, but I don't think it hung together like nearly as well as Bioshock in terms of its themes and like.
Controversial opinion. I think
Alright.
2 plays better than Infinite.
I really like 2, but
Yeah.
you know that the whole of Bioshock 1 was kind of like
Yeah.
philosophically really interesting and like what it was trying to do and everything. You know, the themes around freedom and manipulation and everything were really amazing. Bioshock 2 had some really interesting moments. Bioshock 2's got one of my favourite moments in the entire series when you kind of like take on the persona of a little sister and see the world through her eyes.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
thought
we
that was
don't
particularly brilliant.
we don't like to get too far into spoilers here, but that is a
Sorry, that's a
no.
spoiler.
That is a landmark moment in that game. It's great.
I don't really care about spoilers, so I kind of rarely kind of like censor myself on that front.
No, that's. I
Yeah,
think
sorry about
I think you're okay there. I think people have probably played Bioshock 2 if they were going to
Statute
play
of
it.
limitations is
Yeah.
over. on
Have you played Bioshock 2, Matt?
No, I've never actually played Bioshock 2. The first one I finished was Bioshock Infinite.
Okay.
And
Two's
I
got
went-
some
went
really
back
good
to play
DLC, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. DLC by Steve Gaynor, who then went on to make Gone Home. So.
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Oh no, I
The
flipped
numbers
again.
there.
I flipped.
You flipped.
Oh no.
You flipped. We haven't seen
Are we
it.
flipping? Oh, we're in Kaysan. Here we go.
Oh no! Look at that! Oh, come on!
Does that reverse your controls as well, or is it just an aesthetic thing?
Oh,
I suppose it must reserve.
That was mean, right? That was some.
I've never seen that before. You bounced up into a spring, so you bounced up and then the spring bounced you after.
Yeah. So that's an example. We were talking about the brains earlier. That's an example of the devious brain.
He's been a bit mean now, yeah.
Yeah.
So because that's one of the other things that it does is that after a while each location has a threshold on how many times you can go there, and then after that it decides I'm going to change what location you're in, and so we actually stage them as certain layers and stuff like that. So you gradually go to different ones at different stages, and I think there's 10?
There's 10, yeah.
10 in the launch build, and some of them get quite hard.
I highly approve of making the sort of butt stomp fists move called VSync. That's great. That's a nice reference.
One more MIP to unlock it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna go buy an upgrade for something else there. Okay. So the stuff in the skill trees, that's all passive. I don't have to equip those.
No, yeah, they're passive. So you'll just gradually become faster, stronger, better.
Originally we had it as you did. Like
Oh yeah, we did, didn't
yeah, we had it where you did actually select them in the power-up screen,
Mhm.
but that menu has had so many changes that we decided let's just put it as passive, because people were getting confused with it. This is when we took it to events, and the UI's had about 6 changes now, 7,
I've lost count.
8. And that's generally through
This
playtesting,
is the longest that power-up selection screen has not been changed.
Yeah.
We've kept that since that was what Res last year.
So I wanted to ask a quick question about development. So you said what was it, 2 years ago? What did you say when you started?
Oh God, I think the original prototype was about 4 years ago. I started playing around with this.
Right. Okay. And so what was the point that you sort of said? Because it seems like there's a point of this in all development. What was the point you sort of said? Okay, this is technically good enough to release now, but now it's time for polish. Was there a moment like that?
I don't think it was so much that. I think
And the reason I ask is because we thought this looked pretty good last year.
I think it was Norwich 2 years ago.
Right.
We
Okay.
showed it at Norwich Gaming Festival 2 years ago, and we had a really lovely reception. We love coming to Norwich. I'm a little bit biased because one of the festival organisers is an ex-student of mine. So that's kind of one of the reasons we started going, was because he's like, hey, we're running this event, would you mind coming and showing your game? We're like, yeah, sure, but we've always had a lovely response. And, the game's crashed again. There we go.
I guarantee, don't worry about it, I guarantee it's because I'm running OBS, Chrome with like 12 tabs including video, Audacity's recording, and Discord is on a call. So really, I'm going to blame my system in this case. It's probably fairly stable normally. But it's enough to play it. But anyway, sorry to interrupt your story. Go on.
But yeah, I think we showed it there, and we always we've always had a lovely reception, even when the game I think was kind of rubbish at Norwich. And I think that was the point we were like, let's try and actually finish it and make it, which kind of difficult, when you're both, lecturing full time or whatever, and it's not exactly the easiest of jobs to have a side project in.
But I think as well, one of the problems we had was that we do like 2 or 3 month stints of development because we were showing it at Game City, Norwich, or wherever else we were showing it, and then we wouldn't work on it for about 6 months
because we had a teaching semester crop up, so we had to go and do that or something. And oh God,
I think it's since it went into first access. I think that's when we've started working on it solidly, whatever spare time we've had.
Yeah, I think we were
back in 2016.
So was the game early access on Steam, or was it some sort of closed beta?
No, we had it on itch.io as a sort of on their first access model, which we had a limited number of keys we put up, which we never exhausted. Although I think we actually outsold our entire itch.io keys within couple hours on Steam.
Oh, nice! All right, okay, so you've met a target there at least.
we've hit, yay! We've achieved something. We started trying to take it a bit more seriously and get it done, and then I think this time last year at Res, that was we had a really lovely reception there. I'm always terrified that we're going to go to the next event and someone's going to come out and be like, you guys are frauds, this game looks terrible, what makes you think you can make games, blah blah blah. Particularly given, like I say, this is our first idea and we're bringing an Infinite Runner to Res. There was an irony in that, given that in fact some Bulkheads Interactive, who were ex-students of ours,
nice,
who make Battalion 1944 and the Turing Test and stuff like that, were showing off Battalion, and we're like, we've got our little Infinite Runner, and I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we going to the world of shooty bang bangs with this acid trip platforming game?
Well, it was no joke, it was one of Susan's favorite things last year, so it clearly was worth it.
But for that alone, there you go. I mean, no, in all seriousness, going to an event like that and someone turning around and going, "Oh my God, that was one of my favorite games," or that was, or even just saying that game was cool. I want to play that again. We had that. We had, like I say, we had a really nice response, and I think we went home after that, and we were in such a good mood.
Yeah, sort of re-energized by the sort of passion it reignited. Yeah.
I think when you stare at a project, or you've been working on a project for 4 years, in your spare time as well, I think we were definitely getting down. I was.
Yeah. Ask me again in 6 hours.
And yeah, it was just so yeah, having that nice reception at Res, and it was the first time we'd actually paid to display as well.
Yeah.
So it
We
was
put
like,
money
actually, we're putting money.
Yeah, so it felt like a bit more of a risk this time.
Yeah, and then we did PC Gamer Weekend this year,
Yep.
which we were in the middle of some big hitting games.
Is it with Quake Champions, Age of Empires HD, and like
Extinction.
Extinction was across from us,
Yeah.
and like was it that what is it, that Biomutant game or whatever,
Yeah.
the one that looks like Rocket Raccoon. Oh, that was brutal. All these games are around us, and people still wanted to come and play ours, and that's when you think, hey,
Yeah,
this-
we got something here! Yay! No, that must be an amazing feeling. Like, just like, you know, the staring at the screen for 2 years, and then people's faces lighten up when they actually touch your product. Like,
Yeah, it is. And like Norwich has been especially good for that, is because it's geared towards families, that event is. So when you've got, and some of our design decisions have come from that event.
yes,
Where kids have played it and they've gone, and the parents like, so local multiplayer came from Norwich when we first displayed, and it was because the parents said, "I've got 4 kids. Can you make is this multiplayer?"
they kept coming back, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like, they
yeah.
came back like 3-4 times or something.
oh, that's awesome. I love
The
stories
mum
like
just
that.
looked exasperated. Like, can you not play multiplayer? And I remember this because I'm like, nah, it's not really built to do multiplayer, and it sat in my head. And about a week later, I'm turning to Matt going, I think we could get multiplayer.
I think we could
working."
do it, yeah.
So
I
how
think we
does the
could do it.
multiplayer work? Is it everyone's racing on the same screen, or do you have separate screens but the
It's-
same map, or is it?
It's
the
same screen. It's same screen. We limit what the level generator can do. It's a lot more generous because you can jump on each other's heads and give each other a hard time.
Oh, nice.
At the moment, there are 3 competitive modes. We're launching, I think, 3 cooperative modes and at least 2 party modes in the next sort of 4 or 5 months, where
Nice.
it becomes there's a couple of really fun modes in there which have never really been out in the wild. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how. Oh, Dave's at Grandmaster.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, sprint.
Go for it. So we're seeing
No!
mode here. Is there anything else we should look at in this kind of particular build of the game, or is this all stuff that's coming soon?
So we've got there's the extra multiplayer modes that are coming in. We're adding more single player content. We're going to add new challenge modes. Hopefully, I'm thinking it's going to be late May, where we're going to give you daily and weekly challenges.
Nice.
So you can log in every day. We'll give you a specific procedurally generated level to try and
So that's like a daily seed, basically.
a daily seed. Yeah, very much inspired by Spelunky. actually.
Spelunky. Oh, well, don't get me started. Spelunky's a work of art. Never mind. I love Spelunky.
But it'll give you a huge wad of cash if you complete it.
Oh,
So we're
nice.
actually- We are going to give you loot crates, but they're just going to be full
They're
of
just
nips.
literally,
Nice. Okay.
it's literally just
Yeah.
it's coin crates, gold coin crates.
I'm actually making them at the moment.
Cool,
So there's
cool.
that, and then we've got lots of. I mean, a big thing we're also doing is a lot more cosmetics. So right now you've only played so much of it, so you haven't got to the point of unlocking all the costumes yet.
Yeah.
Each character has like 10 different outfits.
Yeah, that's fine.
I should go have a look and see if I've got the 4th character, actually.
There's at least 10 because they've also got the multiplayer outfits.
Yeah.
But we've got more. Like actually, our own Discord earlier, Molly. Shout out to Molly Freeman, character artist. Hello, Molly. Was posting some of the new outfits, and they look great. I think was it the
Awesome.
new one from Blip?
Yeah, it was.
So
and I've been working on some new character costumes as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of cosmetic stuff coming in the next few months. We've also got history pack as well.
Yep, new locations will appear as well, and then when we've got new locations and stuff, they'll, like I say, there's 10 in there now. We're going to keep adding more just to get things interesting.
All right, I'm switching to Plunk now.
Okay. Cool. Plunk it up. Oh, he's a big boy.
Oh, I like the the little polygon tooth you've added. That's cute. That's cute.
Plunk's actually probably one of our in our Discord. Actually, Plunk gets a lot of love
Yeah.
because we've got the custom emojis in our Discord, and everybody uses Plunk because Plunk can mean whatever you want it to
Yep.
mean, whether it's joy or sadness or frustration. But yeah, I think Plunk gets a lot of love.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got. I mean, he's a. Oh, whoa! Come on! You'll see what happened there. In a second.
He's got a bit of to him. Oh, okay. Right through the gap there.
Right for it. Yeah, he's definitely got. I can feel the much slower acceleration with him, but the jump feels really good. He's got a strong jump.
The brief to my animator was Hulk.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can see it.
And yeah, Charlotte, she's a really good animator. And most of the time, I just have to tell her one character, and she'll come back with it done with no changes or anything. Yeah.
We're getting some costume requests in the chat here. Suit of armor. Give Plunk lipstick and eyelashes.
There is an outfit. We've been experimenting with that actually.
So there's I'm wanting to do showgirls outfits for all of them. Because
Sure.
we're doing a Wild West set.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is one of the ideas that I've come up with for
Like,
it.
this was I think this was a discussion we had a long time ago. Was what are the rules on, like, is there any type of clothing that they're not allowed to wear? And the rule was they can wear anything. So we want them to.
As long as it doesn't clip with the model.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't cause us any problems in development side, but we can make them, if it's going to be, ballerina outfits or astronauts or what have you, we're going to do it. And I think we've actually done some of them.
Oh, you're going to start having some kind of different textures going on then with the materials and things? Or...
So we build, we have a prop system as well. So we have the textures where we build the skins or the costumes. And then we have a prop system which allows us to add like swords and to hands and hats onto them without having to change the base model. That was developed by James Tatum.
Yeah, prop system, yeah.
And we still use it today. He was an old programmer who used to help out and
works on
Battalion 1944. So.
I'm curious. Is that actually changing like the textures, or is it like bolting on a costume on top?
So it depends. If it's the prop, it'll be 3D and we bolt it on.
Right.
But the costumes themselves are 2D, where we use normal maps to show depth on it. So yeah, that'll be the texture.
I thought I'd fix that one.
Swap in and out. Yeah, it'll be 2D for the costume, and then if we have any add-ons like props for like swords or Plunk has football pads, which they're props.
That's probably my favourite example.
That's kind of cute. That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, one of Plunk's outfits is he's a quarterback.
That fits real well. Yeah.
If I can't fake it in a normal map, I'll create it in 3D basically.
Susan is asking in the chat, how is Plunk to control? Yeah, I really like him actually. He's, as I say, he's a bit smoother on the run up there. He's a bit slow, but his jump feels really good. So I'm liking Plunk. I should probably combine him with the super jump as well a bit more. I keep forgetting to use my power up, to be honest.
I guess we should start thinking about kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, that's probably about the right length, I'm guessing.
Yeah, one thing that we were thinking of doing was carrying on with the 2 truths, 1 lie kind of game that we had going on the podcast. Have you guys kind of thought of some that you could throw our way?
We did, actually.
Oh,
okay. Between us, we came up with 3.
Okay, so just to kind of clue everyone in, we're gonna kind of these guys are gonna ask us pitch kind of 3 things that they have supposedly done.
3 statements.
3 statements, and we need to kind of figure out which one is the lie. So yeah, go for it, guys.
All right. What would our first one be?
Yours.
All right. Okay. In 1999, I was one of the top 10 ranked GoldenEye players in Scotland, and I didn't actually own the game.
All right, truth. Believe it. No, we shouldn't say yet. Okay, let's hear all the statements first before we.
Yeah, we don't commit too soon.
I like the idea that you didn't actually own the copy. That's pretty funny. That's a very Scottish thing. I just borrowed it off my mate. Yeah.
Just stole it off a scally on the street.
Yeah.
Alright, pal, geez your copy.
Geez your GoldenEye. Yeah, sorry, go on. Oh man, I got the worst crash. I got a crash as I landed in a pit.
Nice.
Nice.
Good job.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
So I once served a Premiership footballer a Wii controller when I worked in a game shop.
We might have to ask you more about that one. Okay.
Yeah. And what's number 3?
A key part of our contract for turning up to the Norwich Gaming Festival every year is the organizer Dan Scales has to buy me chicken wings.
Oh, I bet I know where the chicken wings come from as well.
You probably do.
Is it Gonzo's by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. I was there just today, in fact.
I want chicken wings.
They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Worth coming to Norwich just for them. Yeah, cool. So I could totally believe that one. Because
all right, so
the place where those chicken wings are
statement 1: Tommy is a top 10 player in GoldenEye, or was in 1999, even though he didn't own a copy of the game. Number 2 is Matt kept behind a what was it, a Wii controller?
Sold a Wii controller.
No, I served a Premiership footballer and he bought a Wii controller.
Okay, all right.
Who was the footballer?
He used to play for Stoke.
You don't know his name, do you?
I do know his name. It's Rory Delap.
Okay. Well, I don't know his name. So
Chat, you can't help us out, okay? Like, if you... It's up to me and Dean, I guess. Although, if you... I don't know.
I don't know. I think we should run a vote and kind of...
Alright, no. Tommy, your GoldenEye win, or your GoldenEye top 10, how was that judged? How was that ranked? How did they determine you were a top 10 player?
Well, I actually finished 7th.
Okay.
Because the way that the tournament ran, it was a kind of double elimination thing. I think it was 7th. Or at least I think that was the ranking I gave myself at the end.
Were there only 7 people who turned up?
No, there was way more.
Whoa, mass, some shade there. Okay.
That was a nice escape. I was too busy watching that on the stream. I'd actually turned up for 2 different tournaments that day. I was playing GoldenEye as my fallback. I'd actually went to play Soul Calibur.
Okay, so you were maining Soul Calibur and then GoldenEye.
Yeah, I didn't do particularly well in Soul Calibur.
And it was 99.
Yep.
Okay, Soul Calibur would have just been out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. What about... Alright, okay, so... I want details. Give me level names and things. I want to know, like... With GoldenEye, what was it? Facility? What was it?
I think it was most... I'm trying to remember what levels we were allowed. I know Facility was definitely... Certain rules in terms of what the games that we could play. Like, they wanted to make sure... minimize screen watching. They actually had dividers up.
That's great.
And which didn't work at all because they kind of gave up. No odd job, no golden gun, no Baron Sandy. No
odd job, presumably.
Yeah, no odd job because that was the first rule. I think they were like, right, no odd job. I think you were allowed like a handful. Like Alex Trevelyan, Bond, and I think like the 2 lady characters whose names I sadly forget.
Xenia Onatopp.
Xenia Onatopp. Oh yeah.
Natalia
Janovic.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I am invincible.
Love GoldenEye.
Alan Cummings is invincible. Okay, so that sounds fairly feasible. And I really don't know enough about football to deal with the second question.
So by that logic, that has to be the lie then, because it's the one we know the least about.
That's not how this works, Dean, but sure. The chicken wings one. Is that every single time you go to the Norwich Gaming Festival?
Every time the festival's running, not every time we end up in Norwich, because
Right.
Matt and I have also done like the education week with
Sure.
the Norwich Festival. So we did it last year. We were there for about a week in advance
Yeah.
of the Moon Game Festival. I was there I was in Norwich last month.
Yeah.
Was it last month? No, it was
February.
end of February.
Yeah.
And I'm back again to do more workshops right before the main festival. I think that's about to be announced. So yeah, it's only when we're actually there showing sure footing.
Okay, because they've got to watch their budget. They can't be handing out chicken wings all willy-nilly.
Sorry, it's just an amusing thought. It's a form of currency.
Yeah, well, it is in Norwich.
Oh!
We
I
haven't
made
got
it.
we haven't got them new £10 notes yet. We have to use.
You just changed chicken wings. Okay.
Yeah, we've just turned into a barter economy. I mean, those chicken wings are good enough for me to believe that one. So like, it's out of the other two, I think. So, we going footballer or are we going GoldenEye?
I want to go Goldeneye personally because I want to believe that Tommy was top 10 in Scotland because that's kind of a cool thing. Tommy? Did you ever used to send the screenshots into the N64 mags?
No, I never did. No.
Yeah, you know where the print your
Yeah,
score.
it's like sending a VHS tape to show your
Yeah.
fantastic run of Mario Kart 64 and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, "Oh, I've sent this. Hang on a second, you were using the NTSC version, and your track time is completely different."
Nice.
So given that you think that one's true, then the footballer one has to be a lie.
I'm guessing. Alright, are we going to go with that and then let them do the reveal?
Yeah, we should do.
Alright, okay. Dean and I have agreed on this occasion that the footballer one is a lie.
Matt?
No, it's actually true.
Ah!
Which
Alright,
is a lie,
okay.
then.
What was the lie then?
The chicken wings one.
It is
Oh,
the
God
chicken
damn
wings
it.
one.
Now, there's actually a reason. There's a reason we picked it. Is Dan's been promising that we'll go get chicken wings for 2 years now.
It's not happened.
Every year, I'm like, mate, where's my chicken
You
wings?
need to go and get those chicken wings.
But you see, I don't even want to go on my own, or just as the two of us now. I feel like Dan's been hanging this over our head for so long that he needs to take us for chicken wings. Because otherwise, it won't be the same, right?
Yeah. So the thing we've noticed with this game is that some of the best lies are ones that have a nugget of truth in them, but are ultimately a lie. Like any time that I've played against the podcast hosts, which has happened a couple of times, I always dig up something obscure for gaming history that is mostly true, or like just one bit of it is wrong, just enough to.
Enough for you to believe it.
Yeah. So
Devious. I mean, you completely tricked me with the chicken wings.
that's pretty good. I was relying on you really there, Dean, with the chicken
Well,
wings.
I
'Cause-
know.
So basically, what I'm saying is that you screwed it all up, Dean. No, I'm kidding.
Usually it says a chicken nugget of truth.
Oh, there you go. I see it. Yeah. So, before we wrap up, is there anything you want to say to people interested in this game, or people who own this game, or anything about Sure Footing in general that you'd like to say going out?
So first off, if anyone out there is interested in the game right now, you look at that, you think it's pretty cool. It's on Steam right now. You can pick it up. I think was it for £8 of the British pounds?
$7.99.
$7.99, yes, or 10 of the American dollars, and a variety of other currencies. We're going to be continually supporting it. We're going to be adding more and more content to it throughout the rest of the year.
Free.
For free. All of this is free updates. We're not doing paid add-ons or any of that. We just want to keep fleshing it out, making it more and more of a kind of fun and exciting game for people to come back to. If you don't have a PC and you think, oh, I'd really like to play this, stick around. We'll hopefully have some announcements for you later in the year. If you have already bought the game and played it, thank you so much. That's so cool of you. You are lovely. You deserve a high five or a hug or whatever you feel is acceptable within your personal space.
So there we had that Cypher guy in the chat. So shout outs to him for already buying it.
A high five or a hug or whichever floats his boat.
Awesome. Yeah, like again, I'm not going to influence your try and influence your biases towards certain platforms in any way. But man, I would play this on the Switch. Just saying.
That might well work out for you. We'll see.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Okay, I would totally play this on the Switch. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Right. Well, where can people find you online?
So you can find the game and the company. It's Surefooting Game, all one word, on Twitter. Table Flip Games is also on Twitter as @TableFlipGames. It's also on Facebook. You can find the company at tableflipgames.co.uk. Matt, you're on Twitter, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Just about. My Twitter handle is Syret Designs. SYRETT.
Designs, all one
Designs.
word. I'm in a number of places online because I'm on Twitter as Get to the Choppa, GET_TUDA_CHOPPA. Also, shameless plug, I'm a YouTuber as well. I run the YouTube series AI in Games, which is @AI in Games, and I post a bunch of video content about AI working in video games.
I was watching that channel today, in fact, because I hadn't realised that you'd done that, and it was fascinating and really, really well put together videos. So I highly recommend them.
If I have to name drop one of them, I did like a 5-part long series on Total War earlier this year. It's an hour and 15 minutes long. Please go watch it. I put a lot of time into that.
Nice.
And later this month, I'll be doing a series on the history of AI research in StarCraft.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the Alien Isolation one as well.
That's a popular one. A lot of people have watched that video now.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Excellent.
Blows my mind.
Well, if you've got any YouTube tips for increasing your audience, let us know. We put a lot of video. We've backed off a little bit at the moment because we're focusing on our Twitch stuff. But we're always looking to increase our YouTube stuff as well. So I'm going to do our plug now. Unless you've got anything else you want to plug?
I think we've plugged everything we need to plug. Is that right?
You can see my portfolio at ArtStation.
Look at me, art. I don't just do acid tripping plat.
No, I do realistic stuff.
Yeah, actually, I would recommend checking it out because this, like, Surefooting is the complete opposite of anything Matt actually does.
Nice. That's a pretty good way to diversify your style then, having to try and do something completely different.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll slightly pimp us because there might be people who are listening to the podcast version of this specifically. We're at ready-up.com, or we are also is it .net.com? We're both, aren't we? God, it's been so long since I advertised the. Yeah, we've not. Sorry, it's been so long since we've advertised the. Just the web address. But twitter.com/readyup one word. You can find out all of our stream and stream announcements for times when we go live. And our streams, generally speaking, at twitch.tv/readyup one word. We stream every weeknight now. So around 8 p.m. BST/UTC+1. And we're kind of variety streamers and we all do sort of something a little bit different. So I'm Mondays. Susan is on Tuesdays. I tend to play whatever's on my Steam backlog and I need to finish. Susan tends to play lots of cute things. So at the moment she's playing Ni no Kuni. And she's previously played My Life in Portia. Wednesdays we are currently moving over some people around, but we will have someone on Wednesday. Thursday is Stuart. And he plays games on his PlayStation 4, usually a mix of like Dark Souls, Darkest Dungeons, and a couple other things. And then Friday, we have a special Casual Friday stream, which is our multiplayer stream. And I'll be honest with you, most of the time that's going to be Fortnite. But in the past, we have played other more diverse games, including stuff like Ultimate Chicken Horse and Depth, and some old favourites, What the Box. So yeah, please join us for any of those. Please give us a follow at twitch.tv/readyup. And if you really enjoy our stuff and you have money to spare, please give us a subscription. Subscribing does give you a number of benefits, including access to our Discord server and first pick for when we play multiplayer games together to fill in empty slots. I think that's it. I think that's most of the plug. I guess we're also on youtube.com/readyup and for videos, separate videos that Verity works very hard on as well. And yeah, I think that's everything, isn't it, Dean?
Did you say twitch.tv/readyup?
That's it, yes. It's all one word. Cool. We used to be Ready Up Video, but we eventually got Ready Up. So, I think that's a good place to stop. I'd like to thank Tommy and Matt from Table Flip Games very much for joining us tonight and showing off sure footing. I wish them all the success. Oh, well, that's fantastic. As I'm saying that, it just crashed again. It was like, you're done now. Wrap it up, Scott. No. But yes, I'd like to thank Tommy and Matt for joining us, giving us a little insight into the game dev process, some of the technical details, as well some of the philosophical stuff, and the anecdotes from the conventions are awesome as well. I love to hear when like kids come along and play it, and that ended up creating the multiplayer mode. That's really awesome. And yeah, I wish you all the best on the continued work on this game.
Thanks very much. It's been cool to be here. We've never done this before.
No, it's
Yeah.
thank you for having us.
Feel legit. No doubt we'll bump into each other at some point in the future.
Absolutely, I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll be at some convention in the future. We
Yeah,
do
Tommy,
actually.
you go to a lot of kind of academic conferences as well, so I might run into you at one of those. I know you were at Digra a couple of years ago, and I was there as well, and I didn't go and see your talk. So
Well, actually, funnily enough, one of the talks I did at Digra that year was on the PCG of this game.
was
Oh,
it?
there,
Okay.
excellent.
There
Yeah.
you go. All comes round.
I should have gone to it, and then I would have had better questions to ask you.
Fantastic. No, I'm a big fan of the PCG wiki. It's got some awesome stuff on there, including how Splunky was put together and things. But anyway, let's get off topic. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll throw up the thank you screen for the stream itself. Thank you to everybody in the chat who joined us. This was quite a busy stream. We had at least 10 people at one point. I'm very pleased with that. Thank you for the new followers. And we'll be streaming again tomorrow night at 8 p.m, 7:30, 8 p.m. BST/UTC+1 with Susan will be playing more Ni no Kuni. So join us for that. In the meantime, everyone have a lovely Monday night and hopefully a good week. Bye-bye,
Yes.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.